That's when the concept of ocean decade has come forward. So they thought, let us call this from 2021 till 2030 as ocean decade, and then propagate the word about oceans and then how to protect them, what are the challenges we're facing, how to coordinate among ourselves to revive it and all that. So that's the basic idea with which so the theme, if you see, the science we need for the ocean we want. So that is the kind of vision statement with which they have started with this. So the vision and mission, that what the intended purpose should be achieved by 2030 is like in the ocean decade vision is the science we need for the ocean we want. And if you see the ocean decade mission, transformate ocean science solutions for sustainable development, connecting people what we're doing today and then for our oceans. So this is the mission. So people like us should meet quite often, try to know more about this, and then make sure that this particular objective is achieved by 2030. See, we are all almost like at the mid of this ocean decade. 2021 it is proposed. 2025 they have already been like talking about the midterm evaluation of this particular decade and things like that. Now we have only 5 more years to do really cross evaluate to see whether we have achieved something, or it just simply like we declared a decade and not doing anything, or do we need to extend it beyond 2030? So that's the kind of discussions people are all going through most often these days. So if you take a snapshot, what it is today, as of today, I think this I just took this slide from Alison Clayson, which she presented during last week of last month. So if you see the snapshot, what has been achieved? So everything, these are some of the analytics that has been achieved. So there are a lot of endorsed ocean decade actions. The numbers are all there. There are some 59 programs endorsed, some 460 projects are there, 105 contributors, and 957 activities that are going on under the ocean decade. You can see it's a global activity, not just one or two countries are involved. There are 69 countries involved majorly in this particular thing. There are 9 challenges. You can see how much percentage of each of those things have been achieved. And then if you see regional and national coordination, see, it's like if you want to do something for the ocean, as Bala was telling, there's no boundaries. So you cannot do something like I do something at Arabian and then keep quiet. No, because we know that oceans are all connected. So everybody has to do their part. Then only we can really do something. So that's why all the national people should come forward, come up with the project proposals, and then contribute themselves for this part. Even see one good thing is challenge. One of the challenges is dedicated for ECOPs. That means the power of ECOP that you can really do for this particular program is really envisaged that day itself. And then one of the challenges is to encourage ECOPs to involve in this particular programs. So that's how we wanted to. In fact, we have conducted 2 side events, ECOPs, as a part of our activities, but we wanted a main event. That was not done. So with that idea, we have proposed this year. And then we had a tremendous response. I think we got around 450 applications. And then you are the lucky lot, the 10% of the people who have been chosen. We don't want to make it a big event in the first time itself, because we just want to understand the importance of it, how you react to it, what exactly you want, what we can do, kind of a thing. So that's why we thought we'll first, I remember Sishinda was coming and telling, why don't you just open it up to all the people? I said, 450 is a big number, managing is not going to be easy. So let us start slow with a small thing and then start going. Then we can plan to have an annual event or a biannual event kind of a things and all that. So that's a basic idea. So if you see, there are 18 decade implementing partners, major ones, 40 national decade committees, including India. India is one of the first country to respond and then form the NDCs, and then six regional task force and programs. So these are all the kind of analytics. You can just go through it. I can just share the presentation with you, so you can just have a look at that and how and where you can contribute to this particular program also. And then, as I said, 2024, they said, why don't we evaluate what has happened? So they called for the first or that evaluation kind of a thing at Barcelona. So again, all the countries have participated there. And then these are some of the stats again for those meetings that happened. 2,600 plus people attended in person in Spain. Spain was flooded. All hotels are completely full. Spain was telling, it's like board closed, no more entry for people kind of a things was there in Spain during this particular period in April 2024. Even from INCOIS also, director, secretary, all the some 4 or 5 people have attended it. And there are 3,000 online viewers continuously viewing, and then 165 satellite events. Satellite events are nothing but a small side event that's happening. It is like in a conference, some pearl selling fellow will be putting his stall and then selling. So that's a side event. He wants to sell his business. Okay, sell his product. So same kind of things. If you have a small ECOP idea with that startup kind of things, you can just call for a small side event, propose it, make sure that you get some good networking and all that. So those kind of 165 side events is not a small thing, because side event takes something like 1.5 hours to 3 hours in a small stall in a day of something like 8 hours. So it's going to be huge. It's roughly coming to around 30, 35 per day. Huge event. Okay. So, and then they have come up with some lot of Barcelona statements and all that. I encourage all of you to read that, because we are all working in different areas, but we never knew that, like, we are contributing to it globally. How we can contribute to other countries through our kind of works to IOC. So those kind of things are all put in this, the Ocean Decade Vision Document 2030. This is the outcome of that particular thing, which as a report is there, you can download it and then just go through it and then see where exactly we contributed. So that's the reason why when you are trying to reach to you asking for your abstracts, what we said is like, can you map your research area to one of the challenges? So that's the one of the things I think in the Google form that we sent, we asked you to give which challenge you are meeting through your work kind of a things. So that's because when you read this, you will know like it's indirectly we are contributing to these kind of challenges and all that. So these are some of the statements we say like outcomes of that particular Barcelona event. I don't read it. As I said, positive the time, I'll just make the presentation available to you. You can just go through. But most of the things which you are already working with, many people who told the areas you are working, like marine pollution, many people told about marine plastic and all that. So ecosystem, somebody is working already, and then somebody is working on cyclones, and then fisheries. So you all those areas which you just now mentioned, everything is there as one of the prime areas they thought that should be really look after. And then these are some of the sustained impacts and the factors that, again, I'll just go through this. It's all there in the book. You can just have a look at it. And one important thing I'll just mention is the capacity development. So for all these things, like, we need to have the capacity developed among the people, which is not there. So institutes like ITCU are meant for that. As of today, we have finished about 125 training and then workshop kind of things under this particular auspicious of ITCU. And we train about 7,300 plus trainees. I don't say students because trainees, because they're all varied from different backgrounds from 96 member states. So that's a big achievement that we have. So training is one of the important things as and put as a challenge 9. I'm going to make a separate presentation on that, how exactly we have risen ourselves to this particular challenge and all that. Now, that's the about ocean decade. But like, one of the things if you see is the thematic and then regional kind of decade challenges that each country has to respond to kind of things. So for that, we had applied to a particular open call and then got the recognition as a decade collaborative center for the Indian Ocean region itself. So if you see that this is a general structure, if you see the General Assembly where the decision has been taken for 21 to 30 as a ocean decade, then they formed some governing bodies under it, and then there is a decade advisory board. See, this decade advisory board is for every 3 years. So if you are really performing to a level, you are independently, you can just nominate yourself for the advisory board. If you're having beautiful ideas, you can propose as a advisory board members. But in general, advisory board members are only 15, and then being taken from almost like some 300 member state countries and all that. So it's a real tough competition. But if you're able to make the cut there, so that's wonderful that can happen. So there are some UN entities under which these things work, and then DCUs, the Decadal Coordination Unit, which is run by IOC secretariats and all that. So this is the basic structure. So under this, we have DCOs, DCCs, and all that. So one of the DCCs is India for the Indian Ocean region. And then they're also asking the regional coordination, as I said, like in different countries has to network and all that. So further, they asked national coordination committees to be formed, NDCs. So India has immediately, the moment this was passed in the resolution by the IOC in I think in Feb 2021, India Ministry of Earth Sciences responded to this particular call and then formed a National Decade Collaborative Committee, Coordination Committee, and then with something like 21 members. All the contributors, organizations from the government of India dealing with, in one way or other, dealing with oceans have been made as a members. So you can see all ISRO various organization directors, inquest director, and then MOS secretary, and then many people are all there in this particular advisory board as a committees. And then you can see on the right side what exactly, I think it's February 2021, it is formed. And then we have been participating in all other decade collaborative center activities on a regular basis after that. And then we also have contributed to the best practice document That is also available in the Ocean Decade website. If not, you can just ask me. I'll share a copy with you. And then we immediately responded and said, like, no, we'll involve ourselves in beach cleanups, popular lectures, student visits, and all that. So this we have been it's like an order of factor increased the moment we have signed this particular thing in 2021. So our students visit now per year has crossed around 4,000. So earlier it used to be very modest number of few hundreds, but now almost on a regular basis, average 4,000 students per year from schools, colleges, engineering colleges, and everybody visit inquires to know about this particular. And then regular beach cleaning programs every third Saturday of September each year. We are marking ourselves as a the day for cleaning the beaches and all that. And then okay, and then last thing but not the least is the ECOP coordination. This we are also doing. Earlier Nimito used to be there, and then now we have Trishnita, and then many people who have responded to ECOPs, and then they become nodal officers for that and all that. So she's going to make detailed presentations on what is ECOP and for the details and all that. So as I told, there are so many things have put forward by IOC asking people to respond to. So there are something like thematic based or a regional based. So we can even apply for a thematic based, but we applied for a regional because INCOIS has been doing these activities even before such thing has been formulated by IOC. I'm proud to say that even before IOC has envisaged certain things, INCOIS has been already been doing. For example, IOC has come up with something called harmful algae blooms as a separate theme for which it asked all the people to come forward and then start working. But by then already we had a dedicated cruise for 6 years, including remote sensing, in situ and everything. We formulated an algorithm to come up with how to identify HABs and then made it as an operational activity itself. So you can see we are ahead, I can say a decade ahead of what this decade has already been formed. So that's a wonderful thing that I can say I'm associated with INCOIS. In fact, when you put up the proposal, we said we'll work for only 4 challenges. But when they assessed all our activities, they said looks like you are not just confined to 4. You should be doing all 10. It was told by the reviewing evaluation team itself. Then we said, fine, we'll just go ahead, no problem. From 4, we were asked to do 10. So that shows the kind of activities that INCOIS is doing. And then it's like we just need to map things together, which have been already being done since a decade prior to what the decade has already been formed. So if you see what are the aims, these are some of the aims. Assist with scientific coordination planning. This has been extensively being done. We are all part of many brainstorming sessions, coming up with a lot of project proposals, even mission mode projects kind of a thing, which INCOIS has been doing. Identification of collaboration opportunities and communications, like we do not only with you people, we do with all the universities, we do with all coastal organizations, coastal communities, fishermen, but with everybody we collaborate, we communicate on a regular basis and then make sure that our services are being propagated to them. Awareness raising and stakeholder engagement. We go around to all the coastal communities, bringing about awareness about for example, among the fishermen, we do this, but now not only fishermen, we are targeting all the universities people. We can say even common people who are interested in the ocean kind of things also, we are reaching out to them, we are engaging with them and then making sure that they at least participate in one or the other programs that INCOIS or Government of India is doing. And then technical scientific capabilities to support decade action. I said we have been supporting even before the decade has formed. So there's nothing specifically we have to do it again. And organizing annual regional training programs. Again, I told 125 programs we have already been doing. We just need to channelize it to make sure that we align ourselves into this. And then we have to assist advisory boards. This definitely we do. Our director and then secretary are all members of most of these international bodies. So they are automatically there to assist these people. And then we have to provide advice to DCU. So on a quarterly basis, there will be a DCU meetings in which we participate and then say these are the activities that we have been doing. And then we map our activities to the proposed activities. And then we'll make sure that we are providing some advice to them in terms of new and innovative kind of programs. So this is the kind of structure that we proposed. And then it was signed at UNESCO in 2023 as a side event. We have proposed this, and then the DCC formal signing was done. He is ADG of IOC UNESCO, Vladimir. He retired last year, but in his presence, we have signed. You can see our secretary and then our former director Srinivas who was there that during signing ceremony. And then myself and Dr. Nagaraj Kumar are giving a partial support to DCC apart from our activities. And we had two positions earlier, Dr. Nimit and then Dr. P.V. Rao used to be there, but both the positions are vacant. So it's an open offer. These two are being now advertised. If any of you are interested, June 7th, we're going to release that advertisement. So you can please opt for this particular two posts. So that's one opportunity apart from networking. So immediately, if you have interest, if you have the required what is that background and then qualifications and all that, please apply, and we are going to welcome you into Inquest family. And then we thought like we should have a vibrant governing board. It should encompass all different areas and all that. So again, we wrote to many people across the globe, and then everybody was happy to be part of this particular governing board. So you can see people from our governing structures, our center from Delhi, and then a host institute. There are people from NGOs, there are people from other DCCs, there are people from ECOPs. These people from ECOPs have been already part of the earlier programs that we have conducted. They are physically here, participated in that. And then we also have regional experts, Indonesian region experts are part of this particular thing. And then we also have DCU representations. DCU, as I said, regular monitoring meetings they conduct. And then DCC IWAR staff, which I said that two positions are vacant. Any of you can fill those kind of things. And then some of the programs that we have already done as a part of this, I'll just showcase here. So regular participation in DCC meetings, which we do, and then some webinars we conducted. And then we also collaborated with Bangladesh in conducting one of the regional training programs called Sustainable Marine Resource Management, organized by SUST, that university in Bangladesh. As a part of this, our colleague that time, Nimit, was there. So Nimit went there and then co-organized. It's a 2-week-long program. So he was there assisting and then trying to make sure that that was done. And some of the other activities is like, we also collaborate with other thematic, what is that, DCCs, like co-design for tropical cyclones, because we all know, like, India, so many tropical cyclones are there and we keep facing it. Orissa people, very much aware of those kind of things. So we said, they said, we want to collaborate with you to understand the co-design components, how you actually observational components or modeling component or data component and all that you involve yourself for tropical cyclones and all that. So we had a couple of meetings with them, and then our ideas have been exchanged, kind of a thing. And then we also hosted the first SEAS regional virtual meeting on ocean predict. We have again here collaborated with Mercator France. They are also into ocean modeling. We are also into ocean modeling. Inquis has the best ocean modelers among the country. So we have people in the general circulation model, we have people in wave modeling, we have people in coastal modeling. So you can name any kind of modeling. We have the best team in Inquis. So that's how Mercator has approached Inquis, and they said, we would like to collaborate with you as a part of their DCC. That's the thematic DCC. So a couple of meetings already happened. Now we are giving our forecast for the region to them and their forecast for the global, and then we are doing a cross validation thesis, which is good. Accordingly, those products will be made available for the people, for the countries in this particular region. So that's a kind of collaboration that we do with these kind of people. And then we also collaborate with University of Bologna in terms of coastal hazards. That's another area Inquis is tremendously progressing with. You name a hazard, Inquis is already working on it. For example, tsunami, highway alerts, storm surges, oil spills, SWAS, you name any kind of hazards, Inquis is already there, except cyclones, because cyclones, it's a mandate of IMD. So that's why we are now doing it. Otherwise, cyclone, anything below the ocean with respect to cyclone, also we are dealing. So you can see that's one of the greatest achievement with which we are proudly associated with IOC under this. So not only this, we try to see with other DCCs, DCUs, and then how we can exactly map their activities to our activities. So we attach something called a primary and secondary attachments to DCCIOR. What we do is it's like when we conduct, we say we are conducting, so you can be part of it. Sometimes if somebody independently is conducting, we say you're doing this, but there's something called DCCIOR. If you can associate yourself with us, this will go to a different level than what you're aiming at. Suppose somebody is planning something in, say, Chennai. We say if we associate with ourselves, we will propagate it in a larger scale, because we will try to tell it to all our partners, all the people who have earlier worked with us, or people who are working with us, all those kind of things. So it becomes a larger event. It's of course, the work will be done by the respective team there, but like it gets a visibility in a larger scale. So that's how we do the mapping and a primary, secondary, and then we keep going forward. So this will be again notified to DCUs in the quarterly progress kind of thing. So DCU will also know. Subsequently, IOC also will know. So you can see once somebody started a regional scale, reaches the global scale kind of a thing. So these are some of the pictures of the early career, again with the Bangladesh kind of things. And one good thing is like there was a NOAA MOES collaboration from US, and then Government of India has collaborated. So under that, Dr. Elizabeth Holmes, she was here. She has come forward and then said like, no, she's an expert in machine learning, but fisheries and machine learning. So you can see that's a powerful combination, right? She proposed a 2-week long training. She said, I'm going to train all the people on uses of machine learning for fishery applications. She openly said, you bring your own data. Whatever you want to come up with the problem statement, you come, I will train you. So those are the kind of things we have done. 2-week long. People had a thorough, enjoyed thoroughly. She taught everything in R programming, and then the codes were given. She created a cloud-based platform in use using this particular thing. No need of any of your bandwidth and all that. She has provided everything. All the codes are there. People ran. At the end of the 2 weeks, people went back with a model which they can use at their offices. So that's the kind of environment under DCSIO we create to the people. So that come forward, use as a tool, and then go back happily with taking all these kind of things. And then she just didn't stop there. She did similar things in Africa, and then she did similar things in Brazil, I think, South America. Everything put together, she has written a paper saying like, if you want to collaborate, all she spent is like, she was very happy. She spent around $10 or $20 towards this particular cloud that she has bought. She said like, I want to propagate this kind of things to Africa, because Africa, you don't get bandwidth for such cheap thing. You don't get even get a good bandwidth at all there. So she went to those areas and then propagated with a very small investment. You can still try to build a lot of capacity among people kind of thing. So this paper is published now, I think, in Oceanography Journal, Oceanography. Maybe I can share the kind. So what I'm saying is at the end of this 2 days training kind of things, you can think something like that. What as a ECOP we are thinking, what as a ECOP we are already doing, what is missing, what can be done. Some kind of Barcelona statements, you can come up with some statements saying, look, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. I pledge to do these kind of things under IOC kind of things and all. You can just do it. Okay, so OCCON, we immediately after proposing as a DCSIO, the major event that we have done is OCCON, where we called all the people involved in terms of oceanography, their works and all that. So we had a 2 days pre-conference tutorial. Many people participated. We had around 65 people participated in that. So, and then this was an excellent conference that went on. And then followed by, we had another major event last year in February 2024. This was a major event in the sense like in terms of our inquest celebrated its 25 years of commemoration when it started in 1999, February 3rd. So last year it finished 25 years. So our Silver Jubilee celebrations with Indonesian Conference as a part of DCAD. And then we also had a set of people under POGO training. We had a set of people under ITEC training. So it's a big commemoration. Around 600 people congregated here. So I know 450, 500 means like, how much big it is. So that's why I told Tishnita, we'll do it bit small and then grow big, because it's going to be a 6 months continuous affair dealing with people if you have 400 to 500 kind of a thing and all that. Okay, you might be seeing like, we have been sending left and right mails to you asking you to say you're coming, not coming, when you're coming, what is your train timings, when you land here, do you need breakfast, lunch, dinner? If after 9, we will not provide. So these kind of logistics and all is very much required. At the end of it also, somebody might be missing their breakfast or dinner. Then they'll immediately write one grievance saying like, no, I reached at 9:30, half an hour only delayed, but my dinner is missed. So these are the kind of things that, but we are happy to do that. Magnificent scale. We do anything starting with 10 to even now, we are confident 600 people you can host in any of the events kind of a things. So that's the scale at which we have now gone to. And then there's outcome of this particular conference we have presented as a small document like Barcelona kind of a thing. So same kind of things, bridging billions to Barcelona. One document has been prepared for all the 9 challenges. The people who are here, they have come up with their ideas, what they can do. So that document was presented as a side event again in Barcelona conference by our secretary. So again, commitment is like, no, as I said, capacity development. So one of the strong areas of inquiries of late. So we said like, IOCCG training program we have conducted again under the banner of DCSIO, where we had about 33 participants from 22 countries from different places of the world. So they're all here for a 2-week long training program. And then again, they are now back. And then what is ongoing is ECOP as of today that we have started. And then in August, for ocean observations, which is also one of the challenges of ocean decay, we are going to conduct a DBCP training program. But unfortunately, this will be an, I can say, nomination-based kind of thing. All the nominations have been already received. This is through collaboration between WMO, IOC, and then INCOIS. So nominations are all done. I think about 32 again will be participating from August 4th, August 5th to 7th, 3 days kind of a program. So you can see the kind of activities, in situ observations or data or remote sensing or modeling or outreach. So any areas that is under this one of the 10 challenges, now we are collaborating with respect to that. So that's my last slide. If at all you want to reach us, you can write any of you. If you're not able to reach to individual person, you can always write to our director. He'll respond to or he'll send that corresponding mail to us to respond. Or you can directly write to DCC IOR also if you have any specific ideas to contribute to. Or you can go through our website, which DCC IOR dedicated web pages are there. Or you can directly go to our things. And these are our social media platforms where regular updates will be there. Any event, for example, today's event, I think by the time you are having your tea, the photos and all those will go. So we are immediately on those channels also. Of late, people are more on social media than physically around here. So we are make sure that we don't leave you like that earlier. Wherever you go, our network follows kind of a thing. No, so wherever you go, we will definitely follow you kind of things. We propagate. Okay, thank you. Any questions? I am ready to take. If not, we'll go ahead with further presentations. I think I'm too fast and then still it is going in. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for your excellent talk. I just wanted to know, as a early career or mid-career ocean professionals, how we can involve with INCOIS and do collaborative work to contribute to the Decade of Ocean program.
Yes. Yeah. So as I said, one of the idea when we sent that Google form is like, now we have identified an area of work with the challenge. So that challenge, what we at INCOIS through DCCIOR, we are going to do. So we'll be involving as you as a ECOP under that. So wherever we collaborate with even other countries ECOPs also. Now we are now going one step ahead. Recently we had our IOC Indio subcommission also formed, under which we are going to collaborate with all the countries in the Indian Ocean, not just India. So now earlier we never had a stamp called so and so person is ECOP under this area. Now we have a database. Of course, that's a small one. It will keep growing. Now in future kind of activities where we are going to work with, so we know you have this expertise. So we're going to involve you in this particular thing. Any kind of things, if at all you want to come and then be a collaborative kind of things, you want some data which we have, an idea you have, we can collaborate with that. You can combinedly come up with research topics and then respond to some of the proposals which ministry or somebody asked to, like, like they open up with some fun or kind of things, or you can participate in combined programs where we collaborate with other IOC Indo member countries under ECOP. So these are the kind of activities you can still work out with.
And then I walk onto the stage. All right. She's a known face, and currently she's a fresh doctorate. So I'm so honored to and glad to introduce my junior from our marine science department from the University of Calcutta. We share the same space of knowledge gain and everything. So she studies the biogeochemical dynamics of the Indian Ocean using a suite of coupled climate models from regional to global. So in 2023, she received the STEP Fellowship with the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, and the Abdus Salam International Center for Theoretical Physics, Trieste, Italy. Since 2021, she has been part of the ECOP program in India. She's the national coordinator, coordinating activities and synergizing different groups in India, working towards a common goal of ocean sustainability. So here you are, the stage is all yours. That's Dr. Trishnita Bhattacharya for you.
Yes, that happens. Thank you, Avanti. Didi. Slide change also, right? That's very much easier. Okay, a very good morning to everyone. I'm very happy to see this kind of participation. I was very ambitious because, as Uday Bhaskar sir said, that I had wanted to make this huge, and in the process of making it, I understood that 600, 450 is a huge number. Mathematically, I had an idea. Practically, what it would have been, I had no idea. And thankfully, when that it mellowed down to 40, it was a huge relief for me. Even though Incois has the capacity to be hosting so much, and they have done it before, if I had to do it for a 2-day program, it would have been a disaster. So I'm very happy to be able to host all of you here. And I'm hoping that the 2-day workshop that we have planned would be immensely an experience of learning. When all of you introduced yourself, the very first few things that you said that the major aim that you feel would be happening is collaboration. I understand that as students you would be very interested in collaboration, but as a part of ECOP, there is a two-pronged there are these two very important aspects that we want to emphasize. First is, as ECOPs, what we want to do is we want to bring together your expertise and build a network so that after knowing what you need as ECOPs, as early career professionals, we would be able to assist you in building your expertise. But the second more important aspect that we want to talk about is how your expertise can help in contributing to the ocean sustainable development. And before I was yesterday night when I was thinking how to present my talk, because this is not going to be a very scientific talk, it's going to be a very general talk. The one thing that came to my mind is this is actually going to be a very important nation building process, and it is not a tall talk. When I was thinking this, the words saying that this is going to be nation building sounded immensely exaggerated. And then when I thought about it, it is not going to be an exaggerated idea, because with our small actions and small efforts, it would contribute to something that is going to make India better. So if we are able to bring together people who form the network in research, not just research, through ECOP, we are going to try and bring together people of every field. So, okay. Yeah. So the UN Ocean Decade actually is a big project, a huge system where everyone is coming together. And under this big umbrella, there are so many small factors. So there's a bottoms up approach. The decade has almost 57 programs, and only one of the programs is ECOP. So imagine in this huge pool, we are just one. In our ECOP program, we have contributions from many projects, we have contributions from many activities, and all of these together will make up ECOP. When I say that, I mean to say that our idea is to bring together people from not just oceanography backgrounds. We are hoping and expecting we will get people from even bioethics background. I think we have some people here from bioethics. We are expecting people who are students of literature, who are storytellers, who are artists, in fact. And the reason we are hoping for this sort of a network, this sort of a collaboration, and this sort of a coming together is because even though we need researchers, we also need people who are able to disseminate that science. So as a researcher myself, I understand very, very strongly how important the act or the ideas of a researcher is. So one of the things that I want to say is that we've heard of many of these outreach activities. Say, for example, in Kolkata itself, there was one, not recent, Amphan was rather a few years ago. But when Amphan struck, it's a cyclone, the amount of destruction that happened after was unprecedented. And there were a lot of efforts from citizens that helped build back after the ravages that was caused by this cyclone. So one of the things that in the coastal areas that was done is they planted trees after the cyclone hit. Now, if so, as a layman, you would think that we can take, say, 1 lakh saplings and then go to any coastal area and plant it. But you have to realize that if we are thinking of taking saplings, 1 lakh, the number is not enough. We have to figure out what is the soil quality. If we are planting that sapling in a certain space, will that survive? What is the survivability of saplings? So that is where we had to bring researchers to understand how the activity, that the proposed activity which brought together citizens, if there is viability and feasibility of that action or not. There were many other, so the point I'm trying to make is that whenever we are planning an outreach activity or an activity where we are trying to get together people to help with sustainable development, it has to bring people from all walks. We need people. If we have just scientists talking about their science, I don't think people in the villages will be bothered. And also with the training that we have, we always sometimes fall back on jargon, which is difficult for the people to understand, and they are not even bothered to be really honest. So we need people who are able to bridge the gap between someone who is willing to listen to us and someone who has the expertise to give that knowledge. Another reason why I am very interested in bringing together people from all walks of life is that in INCOIS itself, a few years ago, we had this presentation we had the program for Women's Day. And that year, I think it was just 2 years ago, that year, the theme of the International Women's Day was how climate change affects women. I will give you 10 seconds. Can anyone here give me any idea when I say how climate change affects women or how climate change affects genders? Can anyone give me any way at the very beginning? Can you think of any way that might come to your mind how it can affect? Yes, go ahead. Please take the.
In my perspective, I think whatever things, even it may so slight change in climate, it may directly affect the women in a family first. Because we're coming to this rural sectors of India, rural India, I have seen this women, those people, they are walking miles of distance to get even a glass of or even pot of water. So because of this changing climate precipitation patterns, if the water scarcity is getting intensified, it's the women in the family who suffers the first. She's the one who feeds the babies, and she need to look for other ways to find. So that is one major issue I was feeling, especially in the rural India, not the other privileged women, but those in the rural sectors, they are gonna face this thing.
Yes, you're correct. This was one of the points. So you are very correct. This was one of the points that we found out when we did the research to the presentation for that particular event. And we found out so many other aspects. So women in different countries are affected differently. In Africa, it's different. In the rural parts of India, the drought condition is one of the reasons which exacerbates the condition. When we had first heard how climate change would impact women, we were quite flabbergasted at how is it possible, and we became very curious as to find out. Now think about this. As people in STEM, I don't think this would have been the first thing that come to our mind. We need people even from social sciences background to help us understand and bring their perspectives, so that we are forced to think in terms which are not very easy for us to look at. So this is the reason we've been working. Actually, it took almost 5 years for ECOP to establish its proper focal node in India. So even though in 2021 we had started ECOP, the program had been started by the global community. We have been working for almost 5 years, and only in 2024 the governing structure was finalized, and the committee members were also finalized in 2024, late in November, something in the end of 2024. For the last 5 years, what we have been trying to do is that we've been trying to understand what is going to be the biggest activity or aim for ECOPs. And broadly, we have come up with some ideas. As I said, that it is the biggest thing that we are trying to do is bring about people so that we have a network. And this network that we are talking about, of course, first it's very easy for us to start with researchers, because that's our niche. So it's easy for us to uh, talk to individual, say, institutes, especially from INCOIS. It's very easy for us to reach out to institutes. Also, maybe we are also trying to reach out to different universities. But through everyone who's present here, we are hoping that you could reach out to others who are not even scientists. Maybe you could do it. You have sisters or brothers. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping you have siblings, or you have friends who are maybe not your school friends, who did not opt science, or who have this idea, who have ideas, who are artistic, creative, or who have this zeal to work together. And even though I say that the ECOP primarily works towards ocean development, the things that we work on, or the things that we work for, it is not exclusively related to ocean. So the idea of bringing a network is also a way to help maybe scholars have a space which is safe. So as researchers, as PhD scholars who are in the beginning stages of their career, I am sure you would be requiring help of a lot of kind. Maybe the help could be mental help. The help could be how to deal with administrative challenges, how to deal with what you need in terms of the opportunities for going to more and more conferences, or whatever. Funding is something we are working on. I cannot commit to things that are related to funding, but the other things that I said, these are the things that you might be requiring help for. And as a network, it is easier for us to be able to give you any expertise or any assistance that we can provide. Another thing that we've been trying to do is that India obviously is very diverse. It's an understatement saying that. And we are trying to bring in people from every region. So as of now, in the field of oceanography, there are only a few major states that are brilliantly represented. It's overwhelmingly represented. But we are trying to bring in people from as many different states as possible. Even for this workshop, we tried our best to have the greatest diversity possible. However, at the very last moment, a few people were not able to come because we highly wanted Northeast representation, and we had selected a few participants from that region as well. Due to some flooding problems, yesterday night itself we got the mail that they will not be able to make it. The train, they did not get any Tatkal tickets, and the flights are also not available. So since this was the first time we are doing this workshop, we were not able to branch out as much as we thought we would be able to. But as future as future activities, we do plan to understand what are the requirements of all the states, or as much as possible. We've tried to cover the entire length and breadth of India. We even tried to have some representation from Kashmir and Himachal. Again, for a variety of different reasons, we were not able to. We were not able to get the participants. The last moment, some changes happened, and they were not able to join. So it is important for us to get representation from all these states, so that we understand what are the requirements of these people, from the background that they come from. And also so that people get visibility, and people get more opportunities. People who already are well represented. They are already getting to know about the workshops that are happening, the opportunities that are available. But those states which are rather remote or who don't have enough visibility, this is probably a way for us to give them some visibility. And from their perspective, we will be able to learn. This is one of the things that ECOPs try to do. We also want to make free and accessible training opportunities. There is one important aspect that I want to talk about when I'm talking about free and accessible trainings. All our trainings are free. This is important because you might sometimes come across flyers where some some organizations, they could be NGOs or some other organizations, which might, under the pretext of teaching some basic tools, for example, Ferret or ArcGIS or whatever, they charge you money. And the one thing that they do is they put out uh, the disclaimers like UN endorsed, something of this sort. So if they write things like UN endorsed, project under UN, UNESCO endorsed, whatever, that sort of gives them a legitimacy which is misleading, because you have to understand that that institutions like us, we will not charge you money for training something, for training you something which we are very proficient in. We have the resources, we have the expertise, we have all the kinds of people who are equipped with the teaching abilities. We don't need your money. So if you come across such advertisements, I hope that from now on you would be able to distinguish which is legitimate and which is not. And also, if your friends say that they have come across such flyers, I'm hoping that from now on you are able to show them that those are not, that don't spend money on those. I mean, legitimate training opportunities and training workshops are from institutes which are established, and they don't need your money. This is a very important aspect. I cannot stress enough. We don't need your money. We are providing you travel support. We are providing you resources so that we can have people from all over India, and we can train them at our cost. So if someone is asking you to pay 900 or 1200 to register just so that they can teach you Ferret, that is ridiculous, to be honest. Uh, Also, it is our duty to be able to make science and the opportunities of training available to all, which is why we go on having these trainings many times. So at INCOIS, especially as Uday sir has already said, we have had many trainings of this sort. For ECOP, this is the first, and the first training that we are doing for this two-day workshop, we've kept this rather general. But in the future years, what we are planning to do is we are going to make it a lot more concise, lot more narrowed. So it will be probably just one topic, and then people who are, it's not that we are wanting the people who are working on that topic itself. So for example, if we are talking about if next year, let's just say that we have the topic as microplastics, so there are people who are working on AC interaction. They will think that, how do I contribute? Again, the idea of ECOP is not to show your science, but you have brains which you can use, and you can make up a plan or an abstract which somehow relates to microplastic, not in scientific terms, but in terms of how you can contribute. So even if in the future years we narrow our topics, we do not want to narrow our reach in terms of the participants. We are hoping that we get participants who are willing to use their ideas in as creative ways possible, even if the science is narrowed. Which is why when I gave you the example of how researchers have this important role to play in when the sapling is planted. What if you have a group of people who did not even have the idea that the soil quality is important to figure out what's the sustainability of the saplings? So we are looking for ideas. What we have to understand is at the ECOP organization or with this program, we are looking for ideas, which is, of course, should have a scientific temper, but it does not need to be hardcore science. I mean, we're not going to judge you on your scientific capabilities. Eventually, what we are trying to make is a network that is also probably going to help in policy making. That is a much longer goal that is not probably going to happen soon enough. But when I said that the ECOP activities might just become helpful in nation building, the reason I said this is because, for example, one of the aspects that we have been talking about is we go to schools and we teach the young children about ocean literacy. Now think about this, about when we were in school, when I was in school at least, we had heard of the ozone hole problem. What is the condition of the ozone hole now? Just anyone, give me, what's the condition? Does anyone know? Mike, please. Whoever speaks, please, Mike, so that.
Reports suggest that it has healed to a point.
Right.
because
What
the
were you
sea
saying?
is-
Yes. So think about the power of actions. When we were in school, I am hoping you were also in school the same time as I was, whatever. Um, the environmental studies was a part of our curriculum, and every single person was made aware of the climate problem. India is probably only one of the few countries where we don't have people saying climate change is not a reality. You go to any other country, I'm not going to name countries, but a few other countries that I've been to, there is an entire debate still going on. There are naysayers who do not believe climate change exists, and then there are scientists who believe climate change is true. Thankfully, in India, there is no debate of this sort. How do you think that happened? Because for many, many years, almost over a 10-year period, I think, students at their very classroom level, they had been taught the consequences, the reasons that had been driving climate change, especially the ozone hole, which is something so tangible. So the hole was a tangible hole right in the stratosphere, and now reports have said that the hole has shrunk. So that's a very tangible outcome, or a very visible effect of what people have done through their small collective efforts. So one of the few efforts that we were taught that we had to use less of electricity. We would be more mindful about how we behave in our own homes. We had to be more mindful about the amount of AC that we would be using. You think that would have been possible without a collective effect, without collective activities? And how do you bring ideas to the grassroots level? If a scientist is saying something to you in a workshop, you take that to your home. You take that to people who are 5-year-olds. They might not understand reasons, but they are able to understand actions, and eventually, maybe when they grow up, they will have their own ideas to contribute. So this is exactly what ECOP tries to do. We do not have lofty ideas as of now. We are trying to get to a bigger, broader, concise outcome, but it cannot happen until and unless every single person uses their brain to give us ideas which are innovative and will eventually help us reach the sustainable development goal. For example, when we talk about outreach activities, a few years, Udai sir said about beach cleaning. I, uh, I personally was also not very, I did not have the idea how beach cleaning helps a few years ago. Now I understand. So think about this situation. Uh, the beach is dirty, correct? If we have people going to the beach and cleaning that area, it would, the people who are involved in 1 day beach cleaning activities, they might be instilled with the idea of not littering and have a civic sense in wherever they live. So when I say nation building, I don't mean lofty ideas. I mean tiny, concentrated efforts which have implications which are extremely visionary. That would be, long-term effects. You do something on a very small scale, you do something someplace, and then you use that idea in some other very important aspect. As an ECOP, whatever you learn today and tomorrow from this outcome, I am hoping that you would be able to contribute not just scientifically. Again, we need science. As a researcher, I definitely don't want to say that we don't need science, but we need people who are willing to contribute in their own small way. When I was asking for abstracts from all of you, I understand that this is the first time an activity of this sort is organized, so you might not have ideas on how to contribute. But after today, I am hoping that whenever we have any other ECOP workshop, any other ECOP event, I want more than 450 applicants. I know I will be overwhelmed, but I am also sure that I will have enough support from institutes like INCOIS and also my own entire ECOP community who will be able to help. And I want to be overwhelmed with ideas. I want to be so, I want the things to be so disastrous that in the morning I am 5 hours late, but still make it. So, um, so we had globally we had done a few surveys where we had taken only uh, the ECOP nodes in Asia, Bangladesh, China, Japan, Malaysia, all of these, and this was done in 2024. The full report of the condition you will find in this if you scan the QR code, you will be able to see the full report. What we wanted to do in this survey is we wanted to check what kind of visibility ECOP has. ECOP as a globally, what is the reach of ECOP? Do people know what what we are trying to do as ECOPs? How they are, how much they are interested and invested in our ideas. So through that survey, what we found is almost 70% of people have voted that they have read about it but never participated in related activities. I think this is something you can all relate to. I am not, this is not any insult. I am not trying to do anything of that sort, but I'm trying to instill the idea that we need people like you who might have heard about ECOP, who know about ECOP, but they are not, and they also have probably the expertise to help. But they do not have, for whatever reason, they do not have they are not taking the initiative to contribute. So whatever your reasons are, please come up to us and let us know what is the inhibition so that we might be able to ameliorate things for you. And we need people who are willing to contribute to our program. So we have this 2-day program. Whatever challenges you're facing or hindrance there is for your participation or you're initiating other activities, please come up to us. We are more than willing to give you a patient hearing. Me, them, eventually you'll get to know who all the other people are in the committees. Also, if you want to directly talk to INCOIS has been extremely receptive of all the ECOP activities that have happened. And this is not just advertisement for ECOP. I do have an institutional pride, I understand. But without the support of INCOIS, we really would not have been able to make the ECOP India a reality. The first few side events that we had been able to do for ECOP was hosted by INCOIS. The very first workshop that ECOP is doing in India is also hosted by INCOIS. So you have to understand INCOIS has a huge role to play. And I'm saying this because I want to mention that INCOIS gives you a space. So if you have ideas, if you want to do something, please send us mails. At the end of at the end of the slide, you will get to know the QR codes. Munzil will soon put up the QR codes for our social media so that you can connect with us soon enough. Okay, so as of now, a very basic structure of the ECOP is we have working groups. 2 working groups have been there for quite a long time. The Ocean Literacy Group, which Shweta Nayak ma'am will be talking about. And we also have another working group, Blue Carbon and MCDR, which Abul Qasim will be talking about. Very recently, we have the ECOP program has a 3rd working group, which is Deep Ocean. So the working groups are such that concentrated efforts on one topic is concentrated in that group. But of course, they are all linked. About these working groups, as I said, later on the speakers will be detailing. So if you have a very specific idea and if you want to collaborate or contribute to those specific working groups, you can do that also. And as you can see that we have only 9 national nodes as of now. There are not just 9 countries in Asia, so other countries are also trying to establish their group, and hopefully we will be able to collaborate in terms of contribution with the other national nodes also soon enough. We are trying our best. So coming to the current ECOP India team, there are 2 coordinators, me, Trishnita, and Sunanda. You can reach us, the mails and the the social media platforms and all the other ways to connect will be provided. There are core committee members, so the names of the core committee members are provided here, and the advisory committee member also has senior members who are able to advise us on activities. If you want to know more about the governing structure or who to contact, how to contact, you can just go to ECOP India website. You can check, and you'll get all the information that you need to. We have a few planned activities for this year. We are going to try to make webinar series, but we are trying to make it innovative. So if we are just going a webinar series about some topic, it is not going to be any different than what INCOIS does. So as ECOPs, we are trying to come up with series that might be able to help for not just science. We have an essay writing competition. We are going to make this an annual event. So I don't know how many of you have contributed or participated in that. What we did is there's and we've tried to make it lucrative by proposing cash prizes. So obviously there are three prizes: first, second, and third. And this time, what we had was a very generalized topic, and we asked for essay competition, the applicants. The results will be declared on 8th of June, which is the Ocean Day. Even if you've not participated, you might want to know who are the winners, which institutes they belong to. So do keep an eye out for on our social media, the ECOP social media and the INCOI social media. You'll get to know much details. And if you, we are hoping that you'll get inspired. So next year we did have a good number of participants this year, but next year I am hoping again to be overwhelmed by the number of applicants. We are also trying to make climate comics. So we are trying to make small comics. First, we'll do it in English, and then we'll go to vernacular languages. So that we can bring climate related issues for children with animation, with illustrations. That's something in the pipeline. If there is anyone who has the creative idea or the penchant for drawing, for maybe this sort of creative ideas, do let us know. We would be more than happy to hear your ideas. And also, if you have friends who are creative, I cannot stress enough how much we are hoping and relying on word of mouth. So please, at the end of the two-day workshop, all we want you to do is non-stop talking and talking good things about ECOP. Thank you very much. Okay, let's have some questions. Yes, sir.
Actually, I don't have a question, sir, but I am very happy to see all your faces and the talk you had. I am actually telling some 25, 30 years before when I want to come to Inquires and start institute. So actually, I was doing very good in science, working almost 8, 9 papers when I finished my PhD. But here the problem what we got is actually we have to make an operation system for the oceanography. Many of the scientists are not very happy that I am actually going out of NIU and starting. Because the people are thinking that science is for science. We have to go on doing the science. But later it is thoroughly changed that now science is not for science. Science is for the humanity. So I think we should think about how we can use our science for the national development, what I told. The problem you're facing, not only the environment, last time I told water. When you're going to your coastal area for protecting the animals or anything kind of thing for environmental protection, you interact with the fishermen or interact with the coastal area people, what they really say is we also have our own problem. So definitely when we say sustainability, all this matters. Environment, economy, and society. So society also should be a part of it. So what I want to know more ideas if you're for your work. Think about a kind of a translational oceanography. You told a very correct point actually, beach cleaning. What is our role as ocean? as a human being, okay, we can go and then or as a citizen, we can go and clean. Whether we can think about something actually, how we can help us scientists for a early career portion for a digital. For example, you are a lot of medalists, you can have a test medal. You
Yeah.
can actually think the onset of the monsoon where it will be stimulating. So this is actually a kind of a translation lesson of this kind of thing. So we focus in that area for digital, which is the best time for that. So there is, if you start thinking about, there is so many of the problems that facing people or those modern community. I think you can work towards that. That is what entire the world is doing. That the sustainable, the challenges for it, sustainable ocean economy. Where this all the things whatever I'm telling you. So each as a scientist, okay, we are always very good in asking questions. If they ask, tell something, definitely I'll have an answer. But we also should be trained to make the solution for the problems our humanity is facing or people are facing. So this is, I think, some thought we should have. So with that, actually, I have some work. I thought because morning I told that my first the priority is making next generation oceanographer which is relevant to this. That's why it's little bit more time. Thank you. I think it is very good actually. I think now ECOP India, no, you can make like ECOP Asia or anything like that because most of the thing what INCOI started, it is grown in the international level. So whatever the best practices in international level is to start from India.
That is very true, actually. That's not just advertisement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm guessing we don't have any other questions as of now. Before I end, I want to say something. We are going to try our level best to make this workshop an immersive experience. One thing that I learned very recently in INCOIS, we had this IOBGC workshop, and the reason I'm saying this is because for that workshop, scientists from all over India who work in biogeochemistry, they came together, and it was a 2 or 3 day workshop. The one thing that was for me the biggest takeaway is that how there were some online participants who joined online, and as early career researchers, what you would think is that the online participants are not always able to, at least the participants, not when they are speaking, when the workshop is going on real time, the people who join online, they probably are not always able to hear us probably properly. They are not always able to weigh in their ideas. But in that one workshop, I saw established senior researchers. The entire day they were online with us. They were weighing in when they were not able to hear the discussion that was going on in this particular room. They were interjecting, and that was a huge learning experience for me, because in that room I was the youngest and I had no experience compared to the others who were here. That was when I'm very thankful that Uday sir made me a part of that workshop. Being a part of that workshop made me feel what a good workshop looks like. So even though we are just starting, we are starting our ECOP workshops, we are planning ECOP activities. We are starting slow, but I really hope that eventually, when we have other activities, some other junior will be able to come to me and say that they learned. Because of course, we learned a lot from that IOBGC activity. That was all scientific. But one of the things as organizational part that I learned was the amount, the senior researchers, they had their jobs. So they went away when they had jobs, and they came back, and they were continuously giving inputs. They were asking questions even while they were online. So that was amazing for me to see how researchers who are seniors, who have been in this field for so long, how they interact, what the way they ask questions. With this, I will end. We will all try our best the next 2 days to be a very successful workshop. Especially, please, I want maximum participation for the panel discussion. If you see the schedule, there is going to be a panel discussion at the end. I am really encouraging you. please come prepared. We will have some pointers, some moderator cues. We will start, but there is no wrong answer. We are wanting to hear from all of you as participants. Say whatever you want to say. We will not insult you. We are not, that is not our aim. If you say something, if you think you want to say something which might be stupid, say it nonetheless. We have done things more stupid than you can imagine, believe me. So please do not keep your mouth shut. Say whatever you want to say. We want to hear. And maybe what you think is stupid is actually a brilliant idea that is waiting to be developed. So with this, I'm going to stop. I've spoken a lot. Now is it tea or do we have another? Okay. So we have our next presenter. I will introduce her, and then she is going to talk about ocean literacy. It is going to be a very engaging talk. Please do hear. Give me 1 minute. I want to introduce her. Yes, I'm sorry. I do these mess ups quite often, but please forgive me. Our next speaker is Shweta Nayak. She is the Executive Director of Jane Goodall Institute, India. She's also a member of the UNESCO IOC Group of Experts on Ocean Literacy. Shweta campaigns regenerative education through Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots and Blue Schools in India, rooted in heart, hope, and human responsibility. Her work bridges ocean literacy, indigenous wisdom, and youth leadership to nurture a compassionate and resilient planet. I welcome Shweta to the stage, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Trishnita. Where's my presentation?
Oh, Hattie.
Do I have to carry this
No,
in my
it's
hand?
better that you. I made a mistake of having to carry you. Yes, plug it somewhere. Maybe on here.
Yes. Quite a busy morning. And you have been hearing quite a lot. Unfortunately, we can't give you a tea break because I have to catch a flight and I have to literally run now. So we are talking about ocean literacy, and this has been mentioned quite a few times now since morning, right? So it must be something very, very important. So we are talking about ocean literacy and how it can inspire ocean in terms of public engagement, bring together people, and then more aware, or I would say ocean literate society, right? So one belief which is there, and which when I talk about ocean literacy, I usually interact at policy level or with scientists, and now with all of you young professionals. And I would like you to imagine yourself not as an ocean literate or ocean professional, but somebody who is out there as a common person who probably living close to the ocean, who probably living far away from the ocean. Your mother, your somebody you go for grocery shopping, or anyone close by living a societal member. What do they know about ocean? Probably nothing. It's just out there, right? So this is the current situation. No matter what we say about people knowing about ocean, they literally don't know anything about ocean. They live close to the ocean. They know nothing about ocean. They live far from the ocean. They live nothing about ocean. Probably us, we know about ocean. So what do? We try and make them ocean literate. Why? Because it is about understanding of the essential role of ocean in sustaining life, because as scientists, as professionals, we know how important ocean is, and also how important we are for the ocean. So it's crisscrossing. It's very interconnected. Ocean is important for us, and we are important for ocean. So without ocean literacy, if we don't do that, policy becomes disconnected, climate action remains incomplete, communities lose both opportunity and resilience, and public awareness become fragile and shallow. That's the reality. Now, a story. You know that I come from the Jane Goodall Institute, India. I am the executive director. I lived with Jane in Tanzania. I studied tigers and chimpanzees. That is my background. But why ocean? Well, I had no connection. I was born inland. I was born in Lucknow. Then I went to Mumbai, and then I went to Tanzania. These are my two children who were then probably 4 and 6 year old, and they were in Zanzibar. So they grew up there. They were very, very young when I moved to Tanzania, and then they grew up with the ocean. And then my son, who you see ahead over there, he asked me certain questions when I moved back from Tanzania and started living in Pondicherry. The boy who grew up, and he's my ocean boy, he asked me certain question about what everyone is talking since morning here about plastic, pollution, and all the problems, because this is what he has experienced. And then he was back here with the reality which our country faces, with the challenges in terms of pollution. Whether that was pollution at the beach, that was his first encounter. He started picking up trash. He asked me make a video. He was 8-year-old then. Second, a sewage going directly to the ocean without any treatment. That's a reality, you all know. Third, a turtle, male sea turtle, died, bleeding, but dead because of the fishing trawler. And that very end, he held my hand and asked me, Mama, why don't you do something? And me, I had absolutely no idea what to do. So my journey began with this question, why don't we feel the ocean in our daily lives, even though we are surrounded by it? My reality was that nobody ever told me anything about ocean when I was growing up. And here my son who was asking, he also had absolutely no opportunity to know anything about ocean until his mother does something. So mother had a big now responsibility. What mother did? Googled. I Googled ocean, marine education for children in India. Do we have anything? And I did not have anything, right? So what I did, I tried to answer these questions which my son asked, which I asked myself, with our Ocean Saras program and Blue Schools India to work with youth and community. And I have seen that ocean literacy is not only science, it's relationship, it's resilience, and it's responsibility. So what we do with Jane Goodall Institute, we have a Roots and Shoots program, which is a program for young people in which they take up program and projects to make a difference, to make this world a better place. So they choose projects in 3 areas. So our Ocean Saras project is about whole interconnectedness of ocean. We have 3 areas: people, animal, and environment. So we not only talk about ocean as a whole living system in terms of pieces, that, okay, this is the chemistry of physics of the ocean, but also people involved with that. What Dr. Bala is saying, communities, responsibility of us. People are very, very important. Of course, the life in ocean, which is the marine life, which is also, like, if you talk about these cetaceans like whales and dolphins, these are the animals who have been there before we were there, right? So everything is interconnected, and that Ocean Saras program led me to launch the Global Blue School Networks in India. And one of the areas where you, ECOPs, can help us. And I've already got some amazing response from my colleague Abul and Dr. Chris, about microplastics, because what we are doing this month, we are launching ocean labs in schools. This is an initiative in which children aged 10 to 14 will be doing some experiments, probably involving microplastic with them, and about the chemistry of the ocean. The schools will collect ocean waters. It is starting piloting from Mumbai and inland cities of Varanasi. So we are also involving rivers and then comparing that together. So I'm also going to Nice for our blue schools. And as Dr. Bala said, that we have a big opportunity with IOC India, because IOC India, we have ocean literacy as a core theme. And we also have a mandate to have a regional blue school network with our member state countries. So blue school is going to be very big now. And India, again, is leading that space. So these are some pictures. We have developed Jane's Hope Box, in which we have the material which we have developed. We have an Oceans RS handbook, which talks about people, animal, and environment. And then we have 5 activity packs, which talks about the living ocean, about the exploration, diving, the art, how ocean inspired art, and of course, the ocean pollution. We have also developed 2 games, and then we have some little badges to give to the children. Then very important event, which we have organized last year when Dr. Jane Goodall was in India, Ocean Literacy Dialogue, for which Francesca Santoro, who leads the Ocean Literacy Program, she was in Mumbai. And this event, the theme was culture, indigenous wisdom. And we had amazing response. I don't know if many of you know about Dr. Johnson. He is India's leading figure in terms of studying culture and community role in ocean science. And then we had a representative from the Koli communities. And then we had a great dialogue, which happened in Mumbai in November. Now, this is what we are talking about, that we as ocean professionals or people connected to ocean, we know no boundaries, right? What we do, we understand that we have one big ocean. That's it. That's the planet. That's our blue planet. And it's a beating blue heart, but that's in danger. And that is also resulting in an existential crisis for the planet. That's one ocean, but the reality with that is that people, as we said, they are totally disconnected, and they are still distant, invisible, and absent. Our ocean is very much away from our mainstream dialogues, mainstream conversations, whether at a government level, at a policy level, business level. I mean, no one talks about how many advertisements we see about which has ocean in it. Probably some pretty fishes or the dirty beaches. That's it, right? So what we need is that this knowledge to be passed on. Why it is important? Through public engagement, that we need to have more and more conversation, because awareness is very, very important. We are nowhere close to awareness when it comes to ocean science. So that is where we must start with the awareness and having more and more conversation, more and more events, not just close events, but also out there in the public. Because we feel that emotional connection is very, very important. And that is what the Challenge 10 says of the decade, that the human connection with the ocean. We already had, it's just something we have forgotten. How do we do that? We do that with citizen science, with the storytelling, youth leadership, community-led conservation. And because each of these has a capacity to open ocean literacy's door to our day-to-day lives. What do we do now? We must embed ocean literacy into national educational system. This is our aim at a policy level. We are trying to do that with our various networks, especially with IOC India. Build ecosystems of influence. These ecosystems of influences are our education, programs, our youth engagement program, with our businesses, with our governments, and then most importantly, bringing together the communities who have been living with the ocean, who have generational knowledge about ocean, but we just don't care. We must include them also in our conversation. Advanced regenerative education that weaves science, indigenous wisdom, local realities and sustainability, and also inspire and make our best effort to empower young people and also young professionals. Also, if people older than us are also interested, we must also welcome them to this conversation. Because the future of the ocean depends not on few experts. What we need is millions of informed decisions made every day by ordinary people. So let me leave you with the simple truth. The ocean needs scientists, as Trish was continuously saying. She's not against the scientists, right? She herself is a researcher. But we also need storytellers, we need teachers, we need artists, business leaders, and citizens who will carry its voice into every choice we make. And how do I see you? I see you, ECOPs, as communicators, as educators, as influencers. You're not only scientists, you are everything else, but also a scientist. So the ocean doesn't need us to save it. It just needs us to remember that we are part of it. That is very, very important, that we must understand why we are part of it. Because without ocean, there is no life on the planet. But how do we communicate that? How do we do that? It's pretty challenging still. So I really welcome you all. If you want to be part of our Blue Schools India network, want to contribute, how do you see our young people, the generation which is ahead of us in terms of our future? How do we empower them with your knowledge, with your expertise, and what you feel was missing when you were growing up? That way, you have a big opportunity. You can form a working group amongst yourself and then start giving us ideas, and we welcome you both in terms of Blue Schools and in terms of building capacity through blue economy, businesses, and with the government level. Whenever you feel, whichever area you choose, you fit in terms of education with the young people, or having a event or a dialogue with policy level, with businesses, we welcome you all. But what we really want is a structure, because without a structure, nothing works. So come up with the proper plan. Without plan, probably it's just a waste of time, and we don't have that time. And we really need commitment and transparency and passion. So whosoever is ready with all that action points and the fire to really bring that change, you're most welcome. Thank you so much. Any questions? Yes?
Thank you so much for your presentation and sharing a personal anecdote. I would quickly like to say something personal that I experienced. 2 years ago, in my class during the masters in ocean literacy, we so we had people from so many backgrounds who came and took a workshop for us, where I got to meet and talk to Raquel Costa and Gaia, who works under Francesca. And when they shared about all these initiatives, one thing really bothered me, because all of these were starting in the EU, but I did not see any sort of initiative coming from the group of global South, like India or any other country in the Southeast Asia. And it was really bothering me. And when I asked Gaia, why are these initiatives not being, started in these countries? And she said we don't have any representatives. So last year, when I got to hear about your event, the Ocean Dialogues event, I was really happy. And thank you so much for starting the Blue Schools India initiative. And also, can I be a part of it?
Of course,
I
yes.
would love to.
You know, I think like we kind of always dismiss, the Western world. There are reasons for that to do that. For me, ocean is very much heavily dominated by, uh, sorry, EU and Americas, and you agree with that, right? But at the same time, we must also understand our history, our background, and okay, there was not an opportunity in the past, but these are the same people who are leading initiative there. They're very much open, but at the same time, we also show our commitment and willingness to bring changes in our own country with the with understanding of the reality of our own country and region. We cannot just replicate whatever is happening in Western world. We can definitely have that in our country. No, we Blue Schools is a big job, because it's not only about introducing blue curriculum. That is, I don't think that is going to happen in the coming few years. It will take some real good time. But even at the same time, when we are talking about schools have a very complex infrastructure, an ecosystem, and how they're working. We have so many boards in India. We have so many festivals in India. We have so many, challenges with the schools. Starting something was needed, and I'm happy that we could do that. Now we really need all of your support in terms of bringing easy activity. Why we chose Ocean Lab, why we chose water for the very beginning to introduce ocean to their schools, because they can relate with that. They don't know about acidification still yet. But once we give them opportunity to bring that ocean water into their own school campus and start testing the water, bring that soil from the sand from the beach and the soil from the river Ganges, and then come research the microplastic in the soil next to the Ganges and the sand next to the Arabian Sea, and come together, start the conversation. That's the beginning. So, any other question?
Yeah, I just want to comment something. It's not directly questions, basically. It was way back when I was a student in marine science in Calcutta University. I was attending a conference in India, and I met a scientist who's a well-renowned scientist in India. He asked, what you do, what you study. I told I study marine science. So the first statement or the first reaction the person gave me, oh, you spoiled your career. Yes. So it was way back in 2010. So I feel down the line, almost 15 years, ocean literacy has increased in India, but I must appreciate your activities. You are going at the school level and trying to educate kids to learn about ocean. So yeah, if I can get involved in your activities, I'm very happy to do that.
Thank you so much. We really need a collective effort here, but for that, I have no capacity to do anything new by myself. I really need a good team which can take decisions themselves, not rely on me, because my bottle is full. I have to travel tomorrow to Nice, and then my travel never ends. And it's just a lot of work. And my work not only is with ocean literacy, but I also have to talk about, biodiversity. And somebody was talking about elephants over here. We are also working with elephants. With human animal conflict in Assam and West Bengal. And we are also developing something like this, what you saw for Ocean Jane's Hope Box. Now the Jane's Hope Box for elephant for children. And we work with the T state children And we also sponsor volleyball teams. We also encourage, conservation through sports in Assam and North Bengal. So if you want to involve in that capacity, you are most welcome to. So thank you so much. And yeah.
Basically creating awareness among students. But is there any program related to spread awareness among parents also, so that not only in schools they will learn about it, but at home it will be a regular practice about like either storytelling by parents or something sort of like that, so that like kids are not learning it in schools but at home also.
That is, any program, whatever we do, it is automatically gets translated to the parents too, because there is so much involvement. And with the engagement with the activity, the way we design the activities with our Ocean Saras program. So Ocean Saras is a project under Blue School. And as of now, we have seen a big engagement from the bigger community when it comes to anything related with ocean. So whatever projects they do, schools, they demonstrate those projects, and the parents, they come and see those projects. Yeah.
We are planning some terrestrial based activities, like suppose we want to teach students about mangrove forest, we literally take them to the mangrove forest and point those trees, and we can make them learn by being in that environment. But while planning for this water based citizen science activities, what we actually felt is that schools are a little bit reluctant to make their students come with us to go to this field. That means the water based activity for some safety risks. So that is the major reason these school authorities are getting reluctant towards making the students participate. I'm not speaking about the higher secondary or high school students, those kids. They're very difficult to manage, while they will be so excited and enthusiastic while they're reaching the field. So we need more representatives. In my institution, I was the only person responsible for that. So it was very difficult for me to manage a huge bunch of students. So if we have more representatives, it will be easier to take the students to the ocean or to the beach and make them learn. So we need to manage this crowd management need to be taken care of. We need to convince the school authorities that we will take care of the students, because so that part also need to be taken care of while planning such outreach activities or programs in schools.
Yes, that's very important. And I fully agree with that. You see, the thing with us, Indians, is that we are quite undisciplined when it comes to public spaces. And you have seen yesterday the stampede in Bangalore, right? So how do we manage that? Probably we need more lifeguards around us whenever we are doing such activities. So that's why when I say plan and strategy are the two key elements, if we are really planning to have more reach with ocean literacy in our country, especially with the younger people. I mean, more and more young people are now learning swimming, but our oceans are also, like, whether you talk about Bay of Bengal or the Arabian Sea, they are not like what you saw in the picture in Zanzibar, where you can just walk in the low tide, as far as you can. So physical ocean is also very, very, concerning factor when it comes to, us taking our children out there. But then we can always encourage intertidal, walk and spaces where we have that opportunity, where ocean is really calm, and low tide areas. I mean, of course, you can't go in Pondicherry and just take them everywhere. No, that's not a possibility. But these are the areas, like how you can develop with the safety. Probably you can come up with a booklet and do's and don'ts, and a guideline towards how do we engage. First, try and understand the challenges what we face. You identify the challenges and try and set up a group and come forward with solutions and engagement possibilities, right? Okay, anyone else? So you want to say something?
That's fine.
Okay.
There's no questions. I think we'll break for some tea. Then we'll go down, take a picture, because Shwetal will leave in shortly. So we'll take a picture, then come up, have our tea, and then again resume the rest of the proceeding. Okay? People shy like me can ask their questions in private, no problem.
You can take my number from Trishnita and
Shall we go downstairs?
Down,
directly?
yeah, we'll go down for the photo, group photo, then come up and then have our tea, and then again join the rest of the proceeding.
చేశాను ఇప్పుడు చూడండి నేను చూస్తాను నొక్కుతాను నేను ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ అయ్యింది అది అక్కడ ఎవరు ఉందా దీంట్లోనే ప్రాబ్లం ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది ఇది వస్తుంది
అదే
స్లైస్ చేయండి
అది ఇటు ఈ క్లాస్ రూమ్ లోపల ఉన్నా ఒకసారి ఇటు వస్తుంది పాస్వర్డ్ చెప్పు ఒకసారి ఒకసారి రా ఒకసారి
కోసం వన్